Hi, I'm Drew. Welcome to the Beggars Woodshop. Well, last video, what did you see me do? Bandsaw. It actually got itself a nice extra piece of dust collection. And you got to see how that works. Well, I'm filming this video before I even finished it. Why? Because I've got to do the next piece, which is the junction box. Now, again, we still are running experimental because there's little tiny things I still don't know. I still don't get the angles. I still don't have A and B properly set, which is annoying. It really is. So, okay, yeah, we're gonna get ourselves through this one and try to make it work. I still have plenty of 1/4 inch material here. And again, this is all experimental for the Shopsmith Sawdust collection system. I still don't have the plans because I'm filming this almost immediately. So, why do we need a junction box? Well, the junction box is going to act kind of like when you have a Y on your dust collection system. Everything's going to come into one port and then out to the main. Now, I brought this up, and I'm going to bring this up again. The dust collector is not the best choice here to be using. You're going to want a shop vac. Again, this has to do with the fact that there's a difference between a shop vac and a dust collector involving airflow and suction. Alright? The shop vac is more about suction than it is airflow, and the dust collector is more about airflow. You want a better understanding, check out the Stumpy Nubs video on mistakes people make when they do their dust collection system. I'm going to leave a link down below in the description for that one. And that's a reminder to myself to do it as well. Alright, so let's pull out our first piece of wood, we'll cut it down, and we'll start making our little marks. Let's get going on that. I don't have a good squared edge, so I'm going to cut it a little oversized and then use the disc sander to kind of smooth everything out. I got a lot of leftover piece here, but that's going to be a good thing. I'm going to do the bandsaw because it's going to give me a little bit smoother cut and also a little thinner kerf. But before I go chopping and hacking, we got to talk about safety. Read the manuals that come with your power tools. The more you understand and follow those safety rules, the less likely you are to cause personal injury either to yourself or someone else. Hearing protection is a must. You don't want to go deaf while we're still young, but of course the greatest protection you can take, eye protection. You will be thankful the day this comes in handy. Let's just hope it never does. Alright, let's get started. Now again, it's not the straightest piece of wood, so I'm going to cut it just a little bit oversized just to help compensate. What am I cutting next? Well, I'm cutting the sides. I've already cut 2 pieces for the top and bottoms. Now we're going to cut the sides. Again, I'm cutting a little extra for their length. This will account for an unstraight piece of wood and for the angles once I start cutting the individual pieces. So let's get this set up, and then I'll set up the disc sander and start smoothing it out. Alright, let's get the dust collector. Here we go. Dust collector, what am I saying? Sanding! Okay, we're at that point where I ran into a huge problem trying to draw my hexagon on here. If you were to look at the original plan, I don't know how well that's going to appear on camera, this is just the copy I made. It's a hexagon shape, but nothing symmetrical, as it were. I've got one piece that's smaller than the top piece, and its measurement of how wide it is isn't the very bottom of that piece, it's actually at an upper piece. And then you gotta solve these angles, and I couldn't solve the angles because of the original file is so small, so I'm going a little nuts here. I really am. So I'm going to sit here, figure this out. I kind of have a drawing of it that it was me just drawing it on the screen at the correct size of the image, but that just doesn't work. So give me a bit, solve this out. If I can get it on one and get it perfect, the other one is just gonna move right along. And then cutting the other pieces will be easy. And I'm holding off cutting the other pieces until I can get this right, so bear with me. Ooh, bear with me. Okay, let me give you a quick brush of what's going on. Much back and forth and trial and error, I got fed up. So I took a little tracing I had done that was as close as I could to the actual size. I think I got it dead on. And traced things out and made a test piece. Just looking at it, doesn't look like it's 100% correct. But I'm going to just make the one. I was going to make both at the same time, but I'm going to make the one. Now I'm going to cut off the sides and hopefully get the right angles with those. Otherwise, I'm just driving myself a little mad. Yeah, I know the actual angles of each piece if the image was a higher quality, and it's not. Well, give me a bit. I'm going to cut these after drawing them on here, and we'll all see the chaos from there. Hopefully I get the right angles. Okay, so here's what's going on. I cut out all the pieces, got them more or less flush with where they need to be. I then went back in and I decided to recut this piece. And this is the recut. I still measured the same size of what it's supposed to be in terms of from here to here and here to here, but I didn't like where certain things were lining up and angles. This piece ended up a wee bit wrong in some places. I don't know how well that's going to pick up on camera with the lighting, but that angle's not right and that angle's not right. So what I'm going to do is take this piece, use that to get my angles on the other pieces. I also have to cut out 3 holes, 2 to fit our dust collector, and then 1 to fit the shop vac hose that I have. It's a smaller shop vac hose, actually, and you'll see that a little later. So, let me get the other pieces, and I'll start sanding. Got the disc sander all set up, so let's get to it. Come on. Get it on there right. Okay. After a lot of head baiting and solving back and forth and forth and back, I got everything cut at the right angles. I had to redo a lot of pieces too. And I'm going to show a little diagram. It's up here. That's my camera. It's up here of this hexagon and what the cutting angle was for each piece at that connection point. Now, there might be a little fudging that has to be done, like that 39, I think probably should have been 40, just like 22 and a half probably isn't right, but you know what? It's right, because it all fits together. I'm happy that it's finally fitting together, so now I'm going to glue this up, and this is going to take me a little bit of time. Now, the weather is changing around here. I was hoping to get this glued and painted and ready to go for testing, but I may just have to glue it and then jump straight to the testing. We're going to see. After all, I've got other projects I want to do. So let's get started with the gluing. Now, this said assemble with glue and brads. Well, I don't have brads. And I'm trying to get my glue open too. Doesn't help when my hands are cold. There it goes. Because it's cold out here. So I'm going to have to come up with an alternate solution. An alternate solution is glue the one piece. There it goes. And use the straight edge here, or should I say my square. Make sure it's lined up on the back and on each side properly, and this will also help me get it straight. Over a tiny bit wherever necessary. Okay, I just tested this, and everything seems to be working okay, but let's do one last little check. Gotta remove everything. Kind of do a little look-sees. Hey, no sawdust. That's actually good, which means the whole thing is working right. Now, I hooked up the shop vac and not my main single-stage dust collector. Overall opinion. Would I do this again? No. Absolutely not. Why? Well, there's an easier way. And that easier way, of course, is PVC. Hook up all the PVC ports, and really, if you probably sat back and looked at it, the cost of wood might save a little money. But in the end, I've done it. I'm happy to have completed it. I'll paint it orange anyways. I'll still use it if necessary. And let's admit, it probably is working with this other piece on here. But yeah, I'd probably not build it again if I redid it all over. If I redid it all over, I'd go with PVC. It's just the way it is. Alright, let me tell you about the project we're going to work on next time. It still has to do with the Shopsmith Sawdust collection system. It is this, referred to as, but I will tell you why that's not exactly correct, and why it doesn't really work. We'll still build it, but we won't install it. And again, I'll explain that more next time, right here, on the Beggars Woodshop.